Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for joining us here today. I'm Nationals broadcaster Dan Kolko, and I'm thrilled to be here on this very exciting day. In addition to those of you who are here with us at Nationals Park, I'd like to extend a special welcome to those of you watching live on Masson and Nats.com, and those listening in with us on 106.7 The Fan. Thank you all for spending a portion of your Saturday here with us. It's my pleasure to introduce Washington Nationals President of Baseball Operations and General Manager Mike Rizzo, the team's first-round pick in the 2023 MLB First-Year Player Draft, Dylan Crews, and his agent, Scott Boras. We'd like to extend a very warm welcome to Dylan's family who are here with us today, his mother, Kim, his father, George, his sister, Lindsay, and girlfriend, Jane. Thank you guys so much for making the trip here to Washington, D.C., and hope you've had a good time so far. We'd also like to extend a special welcome to Nationals Managing Principal Owner Mark Lerner and his wife, Judy. Hey, guys. And now, Dylan, to officially welcome you to the organization, I'm going to step aside and let Mike Rizzo present you with your very first Washington Nationals jersey.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
This is the fun part. Fits like a glove.
Awesome.
There you go.
All right, we'll begin today's press conference with opening statements from Mike Rizzo and Dylan Crews before opening things up to questions. So we'll start with Mike.
Well, another exciting day here at Nationals Park. Over the years that I've been here, we've been here many times, and few occasions could match the excitement that we have today. To get into the organization, one of the most decorated, accomplished, winning type of players in collegiate history to join the Washington Nationals is a special occasion for us. This is a player that left it on the field all season at LSU. We've scouted him since his high school career and through LSU, and one of the most magnificent careers that any college player has ever had. And it's just winning a national championship, I think, was the culmination of his collegiate career. And we have way bigger and way more important goals to accomplish with Dylan here in Washington, D.C. So without further ado, it is my pleasure and honor to introduce our new outfielder for the Washington Nationals, Dylan Crews.
Awesome. Yeah, first off, I'd like to thank my family, of course, mom and dad, Lindsay and my girlfriend. Without them, none of this is possible. They've made endless of sacrifices to get me to this point, and I'm just forever thankful. I want to thank the Lerner family. I want to thank Scott and the Boras Corporation, and of course Mike Rizzo. And I'm ready to get going. Looking back 10 years from now, it's just I really wouldn't think I'd be in this position right now. And I think it all starts with surrounding myself with the right people. And I'm just ready to get going. I couldn't be happier right now, and I'm looking forward to the future. It's gonna be awesome.
All right, thanks, Dylan. Thanks, Mike. We'll open the floor to questions. We have Nick and Joey on each side of the room with microphones, so raise your hand. I will call on you, and one of those guys will bring you the microphone. We'll start with Jessica Camerato, MLB.com.
Hey, Dylan, welcome to DC. How would you describe the emotions of today and in this very moment that you're sitting right there?
Yeah, emotions are, going through the roof right now. I feel, just accomplished and, just knowing that all the hard work is paying off. Like I said, looking back, I really don't think I'd be in this position without surrounding myself with the right people and, sacrificing a whole lot to get to this point. So I'm ready to get going. It's the game doesn't change. Everybody's nameless and faceless. So I'm ready to get going and, just play the game I've always been playing.
Bobby Blanco, MASNsports.com.
Hey, Dylan. Welcome. Congrats. Just what the past couple weeks been like for you since draft night, coming here, visiting, touring the facilities, everything like that?
Yeah, it's all happened so fast, honestly. From competing to a national championship and winning that, and the Golden Spikes, and getting drafted to a great organization. It's all happened so fast. It's honestly kind of hard to enjoy everything, but I've learned how to slow things down and be where my feet are every single day. So I've enjoyed it. Like I said, I couldn't be happier with where I am today.
Andrew Golden, Washington Post.
Hey, Dylan. How familiar are you with the history of the Nationals, and how does it kind of feel to be a part of this now?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I used to always watch Bryce Harper play, and it's one of my favorite players growing up. So that's somebody who I look up to. I know a lot of the guys on the team and in the organization, CJ, House, Woods, Yo-Yo Morales, who just got drafted. So I'm familiar with all the faces here. So I think that's a good start, and I think we got a head start on this whole thing. So ready to get going and competing with those guys.
Tim?
Dylan, what's your goal in terms of getting called up to the major leagues timetable?
Yeah, that's I'm just gonna play my game at the end of the day. I'm gonna do what I can to try my best and perform to the highest I can perform, and that decision's up to the Nats, and however fast I get up, that's up to them. But I'm gonna play my game at the end of the day.
Jesse Doherty, Washington Post.
Hey, Dylan, congrats. What part of your game would you say is the most polished at this point, and what are you kind of looking in the next months, years to really refine and make more polished?
Yeah, I look to polish everything, really, from hitting to outfield work, speed work, first jumps. I think, being able to hit with all sides of the field with power and average, I think that's the most polished. But, I want to polish every part of my game, and get better each and every day.
David Aldridge, The Athletic.
Hi, question for Dylan and for Mike. For Dylan, you just mentioned a lot of guys that are going to be part of this rebuild here in Washington, and I wonder what it feels like to know that there are people surrounding you that you're all going to kind of grow up together in this organization going forward.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And like I said, I know a lot of the guys. I'm familiar with a lot of the guys. I think it's a good head start for us, really. It's we kind of skip that getting to know each other part, and we get right to going and right to moving and getting to work with all these guys. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, I know all these guys, very familiar with all of them, so ready to get to work.
And for Mike, I mean, you knew that you were going to have a high pick. Obviously, you kind of knew it was going to be one of two people, right? But to actually have Dylan in-house now and to know that this is a big piece going forward of the rebuild in place, what do you think that does in terms of your morale, the team, the organization's morale, knowing that something on the ground is really happening now?
Well, it's always great to add a keystone type of player in the organization. Like I've said before, we've been here before, and when I was out and about seeing some of the top players in the country this year, I knew I had my pick when I left the University of Mississippi against LSU. So it was something that we there was a lot of decision making, there was a lot of thought put into this, but my instinct was when I left that ballpark, I knew who we were taking.
Jesse Doherty, Washington Post.
Just for Mike, real quick, why were you so sure when you left?
Just over the years, my experience in the draft, this was just a not only a unique player, but a player that I've seen for years. I've seen him grow as a player. He's been the man for 3 years at LSU. Had the target on his back, and you would never know it. He plays with a slow pulse and a low heart rate, a lot like Anthony Rendon was when I saw him at Rice. And this is a guy that it was about one thing. It wasn't going 4 for 4 and impressing the scouts. It was about winning that game. And he was, I would solo in on him, and he's pitch to pitch, and a guy that took great pains in preparation, and not only pregame, during the game, but post game. I'd watch him in the dugout, and he was always helping people and trying to get the edge.
And for Scott, obviously you're fairly selective with the guys you take on out of high school and college. So can you think back to when you first either saw Dylan play or met him, and what your impressions were, and why you chose to work with him?
One of the hardest things for a family to do and for Dylan to do was for all of us to tell him how good he is, and then tell him that he can be so much better. Because most players want to jump in at high school and their pro careers, but it's a credit to George and to Kim and to Dylan that they trusted in him. They trusted in his skills. And, as Mike said, the expectation of turning down large amounts of money out of high school and going to college is a difficult task. And Dylan modeled that throughout. And the idea of players that can have great skill, but really can measure their emotions, they can answer the moment. Winning situations and big situations are what they're about, and frankly, it's when they're most calm. And I think that's the low heartbeat that Mike's talking about. I wish all those comments that Mike just made would have been told to me before the negotiation, because then we would have had an agreement, but you know how that goes. I want to point out one other thing, if I may, is that today, the final point of our negotiation was to ask that Annette Lerner come and meet Dylan and his family. And she came today. And she's a special lady, and we all have a very lost Ted. We all built a championship here. And we did it with core players like Rendon and Harper and Strasburg and Worth. And to see this next generation come, and with Mark and Judy and having Annette here, I wanted the Cruz family and Dylan to meet that history, to share in it and watch it grow, and let her meet the next future of the next generation of what Ted wanted.
Andrew Golden, Washington Post.
I wanted to follow up on a little bit of Scott's answer about you deciding to go to college instead of taking your name out of the draft that year. Kind of what went into that decision? Why did you want to do that, and what did you feel like you had to prove by doing that? Yeah, it was a tough decision. I was an 18-year-old kid who honestly felt like he wasn't fully developed at that point. I felt like there was a lot of room that was still in my game that I needed to improve on. So, my gut told me to take myself out and experience that college life. And looking back, it was the best decision I've ever made. Taking myself out, and it was a bet on myself, really. So. Like I said, looking back, best decision I've ever made. I couldn't be happier with where I am today. Couldn't thank Coach Jay enough for this, opportunity. Without him, nothing like this is possible. So, super, super happy.
Tim?
Mike, what's the plan as to where Dylan will be headed to next?
Well, I think we're going to, we're going to get him acclimated to the organization. First of all, he's going to run around the outfield today with under the guidance of the manager Dave Martinez, and have a little fun out there. And then we're going to get to work, get to business. all the plans are, everyone's got a different plan of development. I think we're gonna start in West Palm Beach, get acclimated to the organization, and then he'll probably head somewhere in one of the A-ball clubs soon thereafter. But it'll all be driven by where he's at and how rusty he is from the season and that type of thing. But I don't think it should take very long for him to get into the swing of things and to get rolling.
Bobby Blanco, MassonSports.com.
Mike, because of the new draft lottery rules, you guys can't draft as high next year. How important was it for you to hit, or maybe how fortunate did you feel that you could have your select at number 2 this year? And Dylan, do you feel any added pressure being drafted as high, and how do you kind of handle that?
Well, it's never fun to draft high because you had a really bad year the year before. So it was a good year to be bad the year before because we got ourselves a hell of a player with the second pick and a guy that's going to be a cornerstone for us, moving forward. And if you're going to pick high, it's good to pick high when you got a player like Dylan Cruz that you could take.
Yeah, I don't think it's added pressure at all, really. I view pressure as a privilege, really, and I think it's a privilege to have pressure like that. And I've played up my whole life. I was a 2020 playing in the 2019 class, played up, so expectations kind of came natural to me. So I'm just going to play my game at the end of the day, play my game, and everything should take care of itself.
And Jessica Camerato, Nationals.com.
Dylan, when you talk about these big moments, what do you like about those big pressure situations, and what is your key for thriving in them?
Yeah, slow heartbeat, really. Slow heartbeat and staying where my feet are at the end of the day. Going to college really helped me learn about all those things and learning how to control everything and, just be where my feet are. That's it, be present. I think that was something I struggled with early on in my life in high school. So going to college really helped me, overcome all those things.
And when people watch you play, what do you hope they take from your game and appreciate about you as a player?
Yeah, I'm just going to go out there. It doesn't matter what day it is. Give it all I got and leave it out on the field. All I want to do is win, really. So I hope to bring that to this organization and hope to bring other guys along with my game and hope to impact others as well.
And we'll finish up with Winston Hilton, ABC 7 in the back.
Hey, Dylan, welcome to Washington. Nobody really makes it here by themselves. How important is it for you to have your family right here to share in this moment with you?
Yeah, it's so important. Like I said, they've made endless amount of sacrifices for me to get here. Just the time, just all the time that they sacrificed, all the money that they've sacrificed. I really wouldn't be here today without them. I'm so thankful, and this means just as much to them as it does to me, and so. I love them to death. Like I said, wouldn't be here today without them.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. We'll be back in here around 4 o'clock for Davies' press conference.
So one more thing before we leave. I noticed you're a cigar smoker, so hopefully that this is the first of many celebratory cigars that the three of us are smoking together. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody.